An impressive cold front is going to be moving through the area on the deep south today. It's already moved through the northern tier of the U.S. with snow up in around the Great Lakes, with right now rain into the central part of the country. And you can see here two different pieces of energy moving through the flow, one in the northern stream and southern stream, right? Are they going to meet up and bring any snow to the south? No, but we have multiple rounds of systems coming through with some confidence increasing for potential snowfall for the south this weekend. So stay tuned for that. Good morning. My name is Tim Ealer, meteorologist. Happy Wednesday. Today's the 14th. Subscribe and like my channel. Hopefully y'all are getting something out of this. So let's get started with the current hazards. So at least for now, we don't have a lot of hazards on the map. And let's see. Starting off in the eastern U.S., we have special weather statement, light rain and snow showers, rain changes and snow showers late this afternoon, this evening, through the first half of tonight. So you got to watch out for that in the mountains here. A lot of different marine warnings, but up here in the Great Lakes, we have heavy freezing spray, gale warnings, gusts up to 40 knots, and waves 14 to almost 20 feet here. Special weather statement for rain changing to snow here with the cold temps pushing the south. And out west here, we have a bunch of stagnant air, air stagnation advisories, air quality alerts, freezing fogs for the south, and some air stagnation as well into the valleys in California. And we also have wind advisory that expires today. Isolated gusts of 55 miles per hour is possible in Southern California. So it's pretty obvious where the Arctic boundary is here with current temperatures. But even further to the south, we have temperatures in the 40s this morning. You see where the single digits are for temperatures, and that air is going to push quickly to the south tonight into tomorrow and into Thursday, bringing temperatures aren't projected to get above 40 degrees from my location tomorrow. So going to be pretty brutal here. Let me take off the current hazards. Generally in the 30s and 40s, with the exception of this, single digits up to the north here, negative single digits. You see the dark, almost purple colors here. Even out west, quite chilly, but right along the coast, a little bit warmer, but overall, not brutally cold just yet, but it's on the way, folks. I guarantee it. So for Georgia, what's happening here? Well, we got the cold front pushing through tonight. Wind chills could be in the single digits to tonight into tomorrow, right? As the cold front moves through, wind chills in the teens, even wind chills in the 20s here further to the south, even down in the southeast Georgia at 30 degrees. So that's cold, guys. Make sure you wrap your pipes and make sure you leave the water running, especially if you're in a mobile home or something like that. So quick hitting cold blast coming through tonight into tomorrow. There is a chance for snowfall in far northern Georgia, less than an inch, possible in the mountains here. So not high impact event here, but pretty neat nonetheless. So for today, highs in the 50s, generally to near 60 further south. Highest rate chances in central Georgia, near about 60 to 70%, and far north Georgia as well. Tonight, cooling off quite a bit here. Near freezing in central Georgia, to just above freezing for the south, and teens for air temperatures for the to the north. And tomorrow, this is where it's gonna be brutal, guys. Temperatures not getting above freezing in northeast Georgia, low 40s in central Georgia, mid 40s in South Georgia. So the sun is not going to feel that warm tomorrow, especially with the wind as well tomorrow. So bundle up tomorrow and Friday. As far as a 15-day forecast for temperatures here for middle Georgia, um, is the European ensemble, right? So the red line indicates and the blue line indicates climatology average temperatures here. So you see the temperatures are forecast to swing quite wildly here, up and down, um, through next Wednesday, right? And then warming up some, and then cooling off closer back to normal as you get towards the end of the month. And that's the Climate Prediction Center is outlining this as well, with potential for a little bit above normal temps here. But not overly warm, but it'll be kind of nice after this cold blast comes through here. So I wanted to show this graphic here. This is the European Ensemble, 50 perturbed members. It consists of 50 members, right? 51 members. 50 of them are run based on different initial conditions. They all show, this graph shows uh, each line is showing the different, probably like the snowfall amounts, right, from each model run. So you can see here, starting on the 19th through the 29th, and even earlier than that, some of the models are showing snowfall chances here. And there's almost half of the models are showing potential for snowfall here. And some are even showing possibility of 3 to 4 inches here. So with the mean totals down here, run maybe half an inch or so. So this is an increase from the past couple days, especially when you get towards the weekend and further out. So, and you know, this is the 19th, and today it's 5 days away, so you can't discount this. So yeah, so next I'm going to go over, you know, as part of my analysis here, I'm going to go over the different model runs and highlight these things. But the models are coming into better agreement as for potential snow for the south here. So not a slam dunk by any means, but it's looking like more likely that somebody get snow in the south here this weekend. As far as day 3 to 7 U.S. hazards, this is the 16th through the 20th here. In the short to medium range. A lot going on in Alaska here with heavy snow potential, high winds, heavy precip for the south, generally on the 16th, right? High winds expected, excuse me, shoulder. High winds expected in the northern tier of the U.S. still here, or possible anyway, on the 16th. Northern tier of the U.S. to the central U.S., generally east of the Rockies here. So as we move on to the end of the month, we're looking at the possibility of heavy rainfall returning to the lower Mississippi to mid-Mississippi to Ohio Valley here. And they've increased their confidence here for a moderate risk of heavy precip, which is heavy rain here, the 23rd and the 24th, and slight risk in the larger areas surrounding it, the 21st to the 25th. The first year I get through the cold weather and transition into this period of heavy rainfall for the south, and this will be a welcome event as long as we don't get flooding, because we need the rain here in the south. Snowfall, risk of heavy snow is still maintained here for the northern tier of the U.S. Towards the end of the month here. And this is where a boundary, I've been watching this, where a boundary will be setting up possibly here. We can have icing further to the south, heavy snow. It's a slight risk right now. The Great Lakes area, the 21st to the 27th, and these other areas generally are in the same time frame. But you can see the dates here, all shaded in purple. So repeated rounds of heavy snow possible up here as we get towards the end of the month. Risk of high wind shifts back to the west here. Looks like there'll be a boundary setting up between Arctic boundary and the high pressure to the south, the 22nd through the 27th here. Generally west of the Rockies and along the Front Range here, and just to the east and south as well. Hazardous temps, we're getting to the end of the month here, and this is where that Arctic boundary will be, north of the Arctic boundary. On the 21st, they're highlighting a slight risk up here in the northeast to mid-Atlantic, and back to the northern high plains, the Midwest, 22nd through the 27th here. So what's a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook look like here from the Climate Prediction Center, issued yesterday? Still forecast to be below normal temperatures, or transitioning between there's a transition time, right? We're going to maintain these cold temperatures further to the north. High pressure out west, leading to above normal temperatures here in Alaska, Hawaii. Well, Hawaii isn't impacted by that, of course, but Alaska is, with the high pressure ridge flexing out west here. Above normal temps possible here in Hawaii, as well as the Aleutian Island chain. And you can see we're transitioning to a wetter period here for most of the U.S., with the exception of the southeast, east coast, and Florida, and the northwest. And now, depending on where you're at in Alaska, either above or below, further south, precip chances, above in Hawaii, and above to near normal, depending where you're at in the Aleutian Island chain. As far as day to 14 temperatures go, more of a zonal flow towards the end of the month, which could lead to overrunning precip and snow further north, below to near normal to above normal temps further to the south. Looks like Alaska is going to be above normal as well, and below normal further to the southeast. Hawaii above normal for most of the islands except for the western extent here, and above normal for Aleutian Island chain. Talk about precip, and this is where we got this heavy precip outlook here for the extended period. So higher confidence of above normal precip where the dark green is. For most of the nation, either near or above normal. Chances increasing for more precip out west here. Southern Florida, below normal still. They've been below normal a lot this year, and last year. Above and near to below normal, depending where you're at in the Alaska, Aleutian Island, either above or near normal precip chances during this period, and above normal in Hawaii. Yeah, so getting into week 3 to 4 temperature outlook. This is issued January 9th. It'll be issued again in a couple days. Maintaining this northwesterly flow up north to the northeast to the Midwest. Equal chances between. Further to the south, we're maintaining above normal temperature chances, even into Florida, South Texas, parts of Texas, Oklahoma. Below normal in Alaska, above normal in Hawaii, and above to equal chances to below, depending where you're at in the Aleutian Island chain. And here's the precip outlook. Most of the nation equal chances. The northwest to the parts of the Intermountain West, maybe above, with some this zonal flow generally maintaining the flow in the northwest U.S. and maybe some above normal precip chances along the southeast coast of mid-Atlantic to parts of the Tennessee Valley. equal to below to above, depending where you're at. Precip chances in Alaska, Hawaii trending above, and below to equal um, chances in the Aleutian Island chain as well. So what's the short-term models look like here for the U.S. for precipitation, right? This is the HRR 3 kilometer runs hourly here. And this initializes pretty well with the precip down here to the south. You can see the front, like a different boundary here as well. And snow ongoing and some freezing precip up to the north. Not a lot else going on. Go through time here, guys. You see what happens. The system pushes to the north here. That's through the south. Goes offshore. And you have the northwest snow, excuse me, kicking in here into the mountains. Pretty intense bands of snow here, depending where you're at. But rainfall along the east coast here. So if we go back a few runs to 6Z, this will go up 48 hours. This rainfall, this is tonight at 10 p.m. This rainfall kind of dissipates here, right? And it rains out, so to speak. Then you get some heavy rain, possibly into parts of central Florida, right? Maybe some back end snow in the northeast, but you can see an intense band of snow here into northern Maine, right? And you see some lake effect favored snow bands and some leftover bands here into the higher terrain of the Appalachians as well. We get through Thursday into Friday. Another system moving through the flow here, and you see it's mostly snow, right? Okay, so that's where this model run ends. So I know people don't get that excited about the cold, but I wanted to show this, right? And this is the apparent temperature, right? And let's compare this to the actual temperature. So we have some wind chill impacts here, right? Starting off this model run. Let's go a little further to 5 a.m. about what time it is right now. The coldest temps, -30, -40 apparent temperatures up here to the north. All right. You can see how it dumps to the south here, where the cold air is just spilling to the south here, right, overnight tonight. And this is 11 p.m. Eastern time, right? So, and we switch over to 2 meter temperatures, right? So you see the cold air um, pushing further south, brutally cold here. And you can make out where the front is, right? Where the cold air is really impactful, especially on the Great Lakes here, upper Midwest. Even points west here in the single digits possibly, right? For wind chills. Overnight tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Temperatures, like we talked about, cold here. You see another push of cold air building here out west. So that's going to be our next push of cold air pushing further south with a brief warm up in between. So this is the NAM 3 kilometer. This model goes out. This is another high resolution convective available allowing model that goes further out. It's run every 6 hours, right? It goes out 60 hours, okay? And this initialized at 6Z, which is roughly 2 a.m. this morning, Eastern, starting today at 10 a.m. All right, and we go through time. Roughly looks the same as the HRR with the northeast snow, although not as bullish on the snow here into Maine. Looks like it's keeping it mostly rain. But the northwest snowfall, right? And even the North Georgia mountains, maybe some flurries here into far North Georgia as well, into parts of Alabama, maybe even Mississippi. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised to see it ring out some snow flurries here as a system as it cools off, the column cools off, and instability is minimal, but you never know with these systems, right? The system moves out to the northeast. You see another system, this other system coming in Friday here with snowfall up north, mostly snowfall for most of the nation here, with lake effect streamers off the lee side of the lakes here, and that's where this model ends. But you see, this is all snow here. So, and on the backside here, it looks like we have some pretty intense snow squall bands that could set up, and even in the upper Midwest here, some intense bands. So we're gonna have to watch this as well. So this portion of the video, we're going to get down into the analysis of the different models and comparing them. So for this initial system, right, we kind of have a good idea what's going to happen with it. Northwest snowfall event, kind of an inland runner low with potential for snow into the northeast, parts of the northeast, with some maybe background snow going through here, right? And this is a simulated P-type and thickness values, right? So it shows the thickness in the atmosphere and either snow or rain on the models here, right? So green rain, blue snow here. So this is tomorrow. Snow is flying right here, and you see that the generally cold temperatures east of the Rockies, cold air is spilling further to the south here, and some energy moving through the flow here. So we have potential for snow, and this is Saturday at 4 a.m. Saturday morning here for the north, maybe North Georgia, Cumberland Plateau, Appalachians, just snow flying everywhere. Energy is all over the place, and I'll show you that in the vorticity. This energy moves further south, potential for some snow here for the mid-Atlantic. Just snow flying over the place, right? Push of cold air, and then look what happens here. Yeah, this been pretty consistent over the past 24 hours of developing something here along the southeast coast. All right, you go back one model run, it's a little bit further to the east. So you go back another model run, same thing. It's moving some here, but it's been pretty consistent. And this is even more interesting. Let's see if it trends back this way. 4 runs ago, it had this intense band here off the coast. So, and this is now. So, when the euro is this consistent, I tend to agree with this scenario, right? You know, when you analyze these things, this kind of boundary here is really hard to predict where it's going to set up, guys. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're looking at these different forecasts, and don't shoot the forecaster. You know, we rely on models a lot for things, and we try to compare all this stuff and come up with our best educated guess is what's going to happen. And even 5 days out, it's difficult to pinpoint where the heaviest snowfall and if it's going to snow here. But this model being this consistent is a pretty good indicator of the possibility of snow here. So be interesting to see if this plays out. All right. As we go further out, the European still wants to bring that moisture up along the east coast, right? Just barely misses for a nor'easter. More snow flying in the northeast, and then the forecast becomes more uncertain here. But we've been seeing these overrunning possibility events here further out, and then the return of moisture to the west coast, northwest coast further out here. So we're going to see how this plays out, guys. But these could be impactful events, and you see even further out wants to develop a pretty intense low off the northeast right coastline here, but this is the end of the month. Hard to really say what's going to play out here. So let's get the latest run here of the euro, and we look at the vorticity here, right? All right, so got a lot of stuff moving through, a lot of different energy not phasing here on the map initially, right? We go through time, got that low up to the north here, some energy finally diving to the south here, but these really don't connect, right? This is Thursday, cold air moves to the south. You have this other low initially um, having this positive tilt, right? This energy. You have a vortex swing through here, right? And this is going to be our interesting feature here as this moves through, right? Almost takes on a negative tilt here. And this is European, so I would say because of that, we have this energy um, getting going right off the coast here. And it throws back moisture along the coastline. So the base of this trough generally to the east of it. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. So this is a modeled the European modeled snowfall totals through 29 January. All right. So the euro is definitely showing this snowfall as well, right along the coast here, potentially 2, 3, 4 inches of snow here. With the highest snowfall totals, of course, in the northeast along the Great Lakes, and as we get towards the end of the period, further west here as well. So you can see where the bright whites are here. It's almost green. That's where the highest snowfall totals are expected with the Euro model. Okay. So moving on to the GFS, which isn't as reliable in my opinion of a model, but we want to compare it. Sometimes it's on spot here. And we're starting off today at 4 p.m. with this model. Northwest snowfall, what we talked about, right? Snowfall in the northeast, cold air pushing to the south, okay? Potential for maybe some flurries and light snow in north Georgia, Cumberland Plateau, the Appalachians, right? Energy and moving through the flow here again. You see snowfall picks up here with energy on the Appalachians and the Northeast with this model. Look what happens here. Looks like we have more energy driving to the south here with potential for a heavy band of snow setting up somewhere here in Georgia. So we'll have to see how this plays out. It even expands and moves further to the north, maybe with some intensification of a low off the coast here, throwing back moisture. All right. So, wow. So yeah, this if this plays out, this could be very impactful, and it just barely misses. See, a low consolidates, it barely misses the northeast, and maybe things through into Maine and bring some heavy snow. So this definitely has been a trend for both models to develop a low off the coast here and bring heavy precip onshore. Moves further out, you get through further out through the period. Snowfall, and this is the 21 January. This model isn't finished running yet. Go further back here. Let's go further back. Even the previous run shows the same thing here along the coast, right? So consistency is key with these models. So get that moving to the north. Another potential snowfall here in the parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Tuesday. The European really wasn't showing this. And then some more energy to the south kind of just dissipates here. And then we get into this boundary setting up with moisture here. And the GFS has a different solution here, but overall, it looks somewhat the same as Euro, but we'll have to see how this plays out. So in the interest of time, I'm moving this up to Sunday here with the 500 millibar vorticity. and why the GFS, to show why I think the GFS is bringing more precip on shore. It looks like more of a negative tilt to this trough here, right? The base of this trough. So although it develops offshore here, start to develop and throw moisture back. Very tricky forecast, guys. And then moves to the north, right? And we get further out on time, and then we have another trough move through the northeast here as well. So repeated bouts of energy moving to the northern stream and continue to do so, right? And towards the end of the period, you can see how this flattens out. But then you have another deep low developing up to the north here. And where this boundary sets up, we have potential for overrunning precip, depending on if we can get the southern stream to match up with the northern stream energy here. So go further out with this, more uncertain, but this is what's modeled at this point. So we look at the GFS model totals for snowfall. We move through time here. Of course, the highest snowfall totals here are in the northeast, into Canada, and parts of the upper Midwest. But you can, and in the Appalachians here, you can see where it's projecting the heaviest snowfall, and it's been doing this for quite a few runs now. Far southeast Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, all along the southeast coastline here. Makes a whiff on the northeast, kind of whiffs out here. And then maybe some more snowfall, and we show that on the model analysis, right? Further to the west. Then for the central U.S., maybe gets in on it further in the period, and then that's the end of the model run. So we have a very active 7 to 10 days ahead of us here. The main impacts, in the short term of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, possibly to the Appalachians. And then over the weekend, we have potential for southeast southern snow. And it's looking more likely that we're going to have something there. Amounts and locations, still too far away to determine that, but the trends have definitely favor snowfall on the southeast coast somewhere. So we're going to keep an eye on that in the coming days, and of course I'll talk about it in tomorrow's forecast. Hope you all have a great day.